Although I feel like I'm gonna let you take the lead for most of this conversation because you definitely played it the most and almost finished the whole game in one sitting, which was impressive, let's say the least. Um, I'll just talk about technical stuff. You can give me some more personal stuff. So just talking about technical stuff. I was talking about the flickering, which we now know, I guess, is for the most part attributed to the fact that it just shows who you're trying to target and whatnot. Which I guess is an interesting way to go about it. I mean, with limitation, I guess the best we can do. But of course, when there's a lot of players on screen, that can just also just flicker normally, which is just a result of it being on an NES game and all that good stuff. But there's definitely there's I like how there's a lot of different modes, different difficulties, of different ways to play. I can definitely appreciate all that cool stuff. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's definitely a lot there. But that's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, go on. Spare no
Okay,
details.
so I'm looking through right now, and I'm trying to see if there is. Okay, so there's a difference. There's a super shot and there's a power shot. So a
Okay.
super shot is faster, it does more damage, it makes a whizzing sound to the air.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a power shot uh, will glow orange and take on different properties, plus do tons of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out if there was a way that I would have known how to like do the difference between the ones that like go up and down and kind of zigzag, or the ones that are just super fast and do a lot of damage. Um,
Yeah.
which it would have been nice if I could have figured that out. Okay, so there are different types of power shots. It looks like there's the blaster, the uppercut, the wave. That's what I kept doing. The
Uh-huh.
stinger, the tsunami, the warp, the breaker, and the boomerang.
Wow. There's a lot of shots there. Though I will say that even though you're not 100% sure, the fact that you got that close to finishing with just mostly power
Just,
shots for the most part. India was only
just
the only.
playing the game. I'm a
Yeah.
gamer.
Yeah. Just like figuring it out as you go. And that's awesome. Like, aside from, like the India match was long just because they're like really good at catching. But
Okay,
like, yeah.
okay. So the power shots depend on the person.
Oh, okay.
So for the Team USA,
Mm hmm.
um, our main throwers were Sam, John, and Mike.
Mm hmm.
Sam does the blaster,
Uh huh.
John does the wave, and then Mike does the tsunami.
I see. So it's dependent on who has the ball. So it's not.
That makes sense. So if you know your
Mm,
team, you can do well.
okay, and they would often pass to the one. And when you're fighting the computer player, they would often pass to the one that they felt had the best shot for the situation. Like,
Right.
yeah, like they were often passing to Boris so he could do the shot, and then with Japan it was often passing to Fuji, because they were the ones that were doing the power shots for the damage. But if other people were throwing the ball, then you wouldn't get those power shots. That's really good intel, and I'm gonna go ahead and give this game some praise for having that kind of depth to its players, which is
Mm-hmm.
definitely not
I
clearly
like that.
explained. Like, that's really cool. You know what? I think this game holds up pretty damn well. If you can figure out these little intricacies, I think there's a lot of fun to be had there. There's a lot of depth. I want to give the game praise for its depth. Like, if you can really appreciate that, then this is something that you can definitely have fun with. Um, but I'm gonna give you the final thoughts on this because you definitely played it the most and you definitely got like the most out of this game so
Yeah.
far.
So
So yeah.
um, playing through the worlds, it did seem like everyone had like their own kind of gimmick. Different things were going on.
I noticed that too.
We didn't get to see China because they just got annihilated, uh,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because they were one of the later ones. I was kind of hoping they'd have a cool one.
Yeah.
Um, the backgrounds are really nice that they have set up.
Yeah. I agree.
They don't always make a lot of sense. Like you can see Buckingham Palace and Big Ben, and also Big
In the
Ben
same
just
stage.
isn't the tallest building.
No. Yeah. That was something else too.
Um, but that's nice. I like all the backgrounds. I think it's cool that the different stages have different effects as well as the different players. It was a lot of fun. Once I figured out what was like actually going on the first time I played through it, I had
Mhm.
no idea what was happening. But yeah, playing through, figuring it out, getting a hang for it, and then yeah, the only downsides I really saw were that because they have so many active
Hmm.
bits on there, there is the old NES like phasing
Right.
issue, as well as it's hard to distinguish that from who you're aiming at because that person will also phase.
Yes, exactly. And if multiple characters phase, then it's a lot harder to figure things out. So I think that's just only like a downside of the fact that it is an old game. So of course it's going to have that issue, and that not everything is as clear. But again, there's depth here, surprising amount of depth too, and that's something that we really could have only figured out by like really taking the time to like give this game like a fair shot, like we did in this episode. And you know that's what I love about this series, because a lot of the people, if it's not Super Mario Brothers 3 or Legend of Zelda, they're just gonna dismiss it as like old game, not fun, But then we do these deep dives and we find out what lies beneath the surface, and you find out that there's some hidden gems in here. I had done like a few, like about a month or two ago, I did an episode with Kyle, one Ninja Hippie Pirate on Twitch, and me and him played ice hockey, and we found out that this was actually a really fun sports game for the NES. Like, he had some familiarity with it, so he gave me the little tips and tricks, and this is, I think, what we consider a hidden gem among the NES games as well. But I would say Super Dodgeball is in that same category, honestly. Something that's like really fun, surprisingly so.
When I took my little sneak peek, I was like, man, this game
Mm.
is hardly playable. Like this game is not great. And I was like, this is a not holds up. Now playing through and getting all the way to USSR,
Yeah.
this game holds up.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing too. There's a big difference between giving a game a few minutes and deciding it doesn't hold up, and then giving it the long time. I think we talked about this already, Andy, but I have a reverse example of what you just described, where you dismiss it as it doesn't hold up, and then figure out it does. The reverse example of that would be this game, Wrecking Crew. You play a few minutes of this, it's actually kind of fun, but then you play this for an extended amount of time, and it doesn't hold up once you actually take time to go deeper into this game.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite. Like, oh man, me and Gabe played this for an hour. I was so excited to play Wrecking Crew because I had touched it for a few minutes at a time per session. I was like, ooh, I can't wait to give this game the full amount of time, and then it just wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Oh,
Like,
no.
it just, the longer we played, the less fun I was having. Oh,
So
yeah.
another example,
Yes.
and this is of a newer game,
Mm-hmm.
is Cyberpunk,
Oh, yeah? Tell me.
which I have an article up talking about on the website
You do.
hpcritical.com.
What's the exact title of the article so I can let people...
First impressions, I think.
Yeah, just go to HP Critical, type in Cyberpunk impressions, and you'll find it. It should be up in the top results. But continue.
And so even with first impressions,
Mm-hmm.
at the time of writing it, I was 9 hours in
Right.
because there was just so much to do. I wanted to get a little piece of everything so I could be able to talk about, a substantial amount.
Right.
I had been seeing that there was a lot of flack going on, and so I was like, this is something where I need to sit down and I need to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what's going on here. And so I have my first impressions, and I'm thinking I'm going to do an updated article because Jarrell and I were talking about updating either that one, or now I'm thinking about just doing a second impressions.
Ooh.
Now that I'm 50 hours in, because there's a lot that I've learned,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of things that have changed for me. Some have gotten better, other things have gotten worse.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think a lot of it has to do with my playstyle being more developed now, whereas before I was just kind of an all-rounder character, because when you start off, your skills are all basically around the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I could do a little bit of everything, but now I'm focused in on like a couple of things, and I'm like, oh, that's really good. Or I see that like you have to be specialized into things to even get the good stuff, and I'm like, ooh, that's really bad.
I don't know about that.
So for instance,
Mm.
I'm going for a complete melee build, which is fine. However, I'm taking a lot of damage because everybody else has guns. I go into a melee build knowing this. That's fine.
Yeah.
My issue lies with there are a lot of side missions you can do that will reward you with different crafting components
Mm-hmm.
or with blueprints. And blueprints can be used to make very unique items, and some of them can be really fun. I will never know because I don't have the tech skill required to make legendary components.
Just at all?
I cannot make legendaries.
Oh, okay. That
So I
seems.
have legendary blueprints and I'll never be able to make them because there is a max level and
Uh,
you cannot max out all of your skills by the time you hit max level.
oh, that seems really bad.
Yep. And there are like your main skills and then there are stats. And if you level up the stat, which is within a skill, it sometimes, I think it's like every 3 levels, will
Uh,
give you a skill point.
right.
However, you still cannot unlock skills if your main stat for that skill tree isn't up to snuff.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I were to grind out the other like parts or other things and get skill points, I still wouldn't be able to put them everywhere.
That's
So it's
and
really hard.
and question. This is I know it's an RPG, but it doesn't really have a party per se, right?
What do you mean a party?
Like you don't have any party members,
It,
or is it?
no, it's just you.
It's just you. Okay, so yeah,
Yep.
because that was gonna be my next question. Like you don't have any party members that could potentially get those skills because that's very similar to the Star Wars Knights of the Republic series, which was made by
Mm-hmm.
BioWare, where even if you yourself, the main character, doesn't have the skills to make a certain thing, you could rely on your party members in certain instances to kind of make up for your own shortcomings. But if it's just you and you can just max out without getting the skills needed, that doesn't seem balanced. That such crucial items for the game, well, crucial for I guess most gameplay styles, are locked behind playing a certain way, which seems very counterproductive to what I've heard about Cyberpunk's gameplay. Or yeah,
Yeah, it's it's actually a big hit to the game for me.
that's yeah, no, that would be a big hit to me too. That seems flawed on the gameplay side. Honestly, that's not even like obviously the internet talks a thousand things about the other technical flaws, ignoring all
Yeah.
that. Just like that just seems like on a base game design level seems really flawed to me. That
There
sucks.
are a handful of glitches, but I don't talk about those so much
Sure,
because everyone else talks about them.
sure.
I found a couple fun ones where sometimes the traffic will load before the roads load.
Okay,
And
that's
so, like, a car will be, like, stuck half in the ground and it'll look like a ramp.
uh huh.
And I usually drive around on a motorcycle, so
Mm.
I hit these cars like a ramp, but when you touch them, their physics, like, activate and they realize that they're stuck in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll pop out of the ground and it will just, like, springboard you into almost infinity.
Okay, wow.
It is the fastest way to get around Cyberpunk.
Exploring that. Oh man.
There's the yeet.
Oh wow. That's hilarious. Oh yeah, if you actually do write a second impressions, I will be excited to read all that. I mean, I think you pretty much summed it up all here, but I'd be interested in seeing like the writing
Oh,
on that.
there's plenty more. There's plenty more.
Oh, there's more.
I
Okay,
wouldn't,
cool. I can't
I
wait.
wouldn't drop it all on stream.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right then. So yeah, when this stream goes up, I'm going to like title this part this because as you know, I like anytime we finish talking about a game in particular, I put it up as like our thoughts and impressions of like its own separate video. I think I'm gonna title this one, uh, does Super Dodgeball hold up / Cyberpunk 27 impressions. And I think that might be an interesting little good highlight. I'm looking forward to that coming out. So yeah, that was your thoughts on Super Dodgeball as well as Cyberpunk 2077. People,
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed. So now we're gonna be moving on to the next game.